2014 Ford Explorer. What we are tackling is rear wheel hubs, rear wheel bearings. This vehicle spent some time in Pennsylvania and she got crusty and dusty. Now, what we initially had done is used a chisel, lubed it, used a chisel to try and beat it around. It wouldn't spin, it wouldn't do anything. We used a duck bill here and on the thing, hydraulic, still wouldn't budge. So I'm going to show you how to get these things off the quick and simple way. Now, quick note here, if you can't get yourself to this point, this video is not for you. I would highly recommend taking it to a professional to get this done. Okay, that being said, you get to this point, the hubs, this is loose, all your bolts are out of your hub. Please note that when you put this back together, the caliper retaining bolts have blue Loctite on them from Ford. Make sure you put blue Loctite back on them, otherwise you can have a whole caliper assembly come loose. So, first step we're going to do, I have an impact. If you do not have an impact, I would highly recommend leaving at least 2 of the studs in there. I'm going to go through because I have impact, and I'm going to cut all 4 of those off and drive them through. You need to cut them first and then drive them through. There's not enough room just to pop them and push them. Next step will be using 3/4 inch bolts, a couple inches long. These are obviously longer than we really need, but using 3/4 inch, you pick 3 spots here. There's a good solid spot on the control arm here, solid spot here, and a solid spot here. This one's kind of tight, so you're gonna play with it. Highly recommend greasing your threads and also greasing the backing plate, because you cannot get washers here. There's not enough room for washers. If you want to sit down and cut the edge, you probably can, but this starts getting pretty tight. The backing plate, it's best to take it off. Unfortunately, it's won't come off without cutting it, so I cut a small slit in it. It's easier to take off once the wheel studs are out, and then take and get it done this way. Again, make sure that your center nut's out, and you'll put a wrench here and an impact here, evenly go through the 3, and I will show you here in a minute. So as you can see, started popping loose, very minimal pressure. What you're doing is using this as you're tightening against the control arm, and it starts pulling out. Again, make sure that you're doing it equally. Obviously, I need to come over here and hit this one a little bit more, but she's coming loose right off the bat, real easy. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine trying to use any other method to get this out of here with as rusty and disasterized as this is? It just wouldn't work. I do highly recommend, if you can find full threaded grade 8s, do so, because I stripped this one over here and ended up having to use a pry bar and come up here and smack it and pull it out. But yeah, right out, 2 minutes maximum. Make sure when you get to this point that you clean out this mating surface in here, wire, brush, spinner, whatever you want to use. Don't get too deep into aluminum, magnesium, whatever the hell this is. And highly recommend coating it with some anti-seize before you put it in, especially if you live in rust country. Same thing with the splines.